AMD's high-end X670E motherboards limiting Gen 5 SSDs to Gen 1 speeds, and users unable to boot into Windows after restart. So, AMD's AM5 platform was the first full-fledged PCIe Gen 5 platform offering Gen 5 capabilities for both GPUs and SSDs. The first iteration of AMD AM5 motherboards, the 670E and B650E series, gave users both GPU and SSD Gen 5 support, while the non-E motherboards offer optional support with Gen 5 SSDs. And the X870E and X870 platform will further extend Gen 5 capabilities, but it looks like those who invested in the AMD X670 platforms are facing several issues, with the primary one being their Gen 5 SSDs being limited to Gen 1 speeds. And this issue is affecting many customers who are running a Gen 5 SSD on their X670E motherboard. And it's not just Gen 5 speeds being limited, the first Gen 5 speed slot and the PCIe Gen 5 slot are polluted. And if these two slots are polluted, then the system experiences random crashes, with several users unable to boot into Windows. The issue has been occurring on various Gen 5 SSDs such as the Crucial T700 and T705 SSD, which are some of the fastest Gen 5 drives on the market right now. And users report that the Gen 5 SSDs can run flawlessly at the start, but later their systems started to hang, crash, and fail to boot into Windows. However, it takes several restarts before the system would eventually work, but upon troubleshooting, it was discovered that the Gen 5 SSDs were running at Gen 1 speeds rather than Gen 5, and which hampers the overall speed and performances for the users. And if we can see here some of the users, if no joy considered contacting Crucial, there have been several teething issues with this specific device. In here, T705 and T700 from Crucial, and I have recently had RMA one myself after few months, so no solution found yet. And the two enters the SS and MSI motherboard forums show several users running X670 motherboard, and the graphics card in the first slot experiencing similar issues. Now guys, remember, if you are using the Gen 5 SSD, especially the Crucial T700 and T705 with the PCI slot, the top one, and if both of these tools are polluted, so the chances are that you experience the same issue. And we don't know for sure why is this kind of issue is popping up right now, but there is both the SSD Gen 5 and PCIe Gen 5, these are both supported, and I think it's some kind of a bug that it reverts the Gen 5 speed to Gen 1 speed. And I believe that the new update of the firmware or the BIOS may solve this issue. So if companies or vendors like SS and MSI decide to launch their new BIOS, or even observe and see if the error can be solved with a smaller tune or tuke, or there is a workaround to solve the issue. But rather than that, you can use the Gen 4 SSDs and the Gen 4 slot, but up till now there are a lot of complaints, and we will see how the vendors work on this issue. And it was discovered by some users that reverting to Gen 4 speeds or using a Gen 4 drive would resolve the issue and the symptoms would work flawlessly, which made some users believe that the issue was the Gen 5 drives. But upon trying different sets of Gen 5 SSDs from same or different manufacturers, it was discovered the issue persisted. So it is not only related to the same manufacturer, but it was discovered and that the other Gen 5 SSDs are also causing the issue, and the issue persisted. Now it should be mentioned that AMD's X670E motherboards, the first M.2 slot, shares the lane with the first slot, so that might have been the issue. That's my initial and first thought too, that this might be the issue. But it's not like Intel's that they are on 16 and 4 lanes, 16 for the PCIe and 4 for the chipset. Rather it's 24 for the PCIe and 4 for the chipset. So I don't know why is this an issue, because it's supported and it can support. However, after countless reports, some users reported that MSI latest firmware BIOS, notably the 1.0C release, fixed the issue for them, but still some users haven't been able to fix their PCs despite running the latest firmware. And if you can see here, a user using the MSI Mega X670 Gold Lag M.2 SSD Crucial T700 not working in PCIe 5.0 mode, and on SS forum users have been unable to get proper support so far, and the company has asked users to reach out to their respective SSD manufacturers rather than contacting them for support. And one of the affected users, who is running X670E motherboard with the Crucial T705 SSDs, got a response from Crucial support team. And let's see what the Crucial team has to say. We would like to inform you that we escalated your issue to our dedicated team for further investigation, and they informed us that the problem lies with the motherboard rather than the Crucial SSD. This behavior has been observed across various motherboards from different manufacturers, and we were unable to replicate in our host system as well. And the issue seems to occur with the Gen5 SSD is connected to a Gen5 slot on the motherboard, and which is why you are experiencing this problem with your Gen4 drive. So guys, they are also saying that you may not experience this problem with your Gen4 drive in the Gen4 slot, but rather than that, you are experiencing the issue if you are using polluted the PCIe and Gen5 NVMe SSD slot. Then you might see the issue, because they were able to replicate it in their house systems as well, and they found out that this is the issue and you need to update your BIOS. But here they mentioned too, unfortunately the only fix for this issue is BIOS update from the motherboard manufacturers. Now let's see and hope that they will launch the update to solve the issue, but who knows. And Crucial's response seems to suggest that the flaw is within the motherboard rather than the Gen5 SSD, and they were unable to produce the same issue across various X670E motherboards from different manufacturers and also their own in-house systems. So Gen5 SSDs are still considered an early adopter hardware, but there is also a chunk of people who are investing in these high performance storage devices, and if they fail to provide the decent support for the feature, then that is one of their highlight, and then it falls under the bad marketing, guys, and it should be responsibility for all motherboard makers to address the concern and the issue that their users are facing. And we hope that all the effective platforms receive a new BIOS so that will stop the Gen5 SSD limitation and make them work as intended. And that's it for today, guys. I will see you in the next.